the ingenious BRS32 double burner camp stove. I want to call it a concertina stove, but concertina's up very nicely into this very lovely carrying case. The marketing people at BRS, they say, moving scenery, always home. Okay.
And there's just no intersection in that Venn diagram.
Is it time to throw out your lunchbox butane stove or your even clunkier double burner stove? And does this stove live up to the marketing hyperbole? Let's find out. The BRS32 double burner, it's got a bit of a cult following online from what I can see. I paid $80 Australian including delivery. I believe you can pick this up for about $60 US on Amazon US. Weighs just over a kilo or 2.2 pounds. It's not what you call an ultralight stove, but it does compact up very nicely in the supplied carrying case. Now this stove is very versatile. You'll see the preheating tube on both burners, which is handy if you're in colder climates. It also uses isobutane, butane or propane, which gives you flexibility. The taller butane canisters are more available, at least in Australia, in department stores and the like. The isobutane containers are more likely to be found in specialist camping stores. The BTU of this stove is about 6,500 per burner, as I understand it. There are much hotter burners out there, but I think for most people in most situations, that's going to be enough. And I think, from what I understand, it's got very good simmer control. So I think we'll do a little bit of a test, and I'll show you in particular the orientation of the burners and how ingenious I think that is in terms of giving you space to put some reasonable pots or size pots and pans on the burner. All right, let's have a closer look. The stove comes in a nice carry case, seems to me well made, with a carry strap there. Now the device fits fairly snugly in there, as you'd hope it would, but quite comfortably. My impression of the stove is that it's solidly made. That said, when you open it up, you probably should resist the urge to use your man hands.
Man hand? The hands of a man.
And use some caution when you de-accordion, if that's the right word, the stove out. Now this is before I pop the sidewalls out. If you had a smaller pot, you might leave those in. However, I'd recommend that in most applications you pop those walls out. It gives it a nice rigid stability, creates a very solid base in contrast to some of those hiking stoves where you're balancing things on top of a canister stove. So here's the routine standard canister stove that you get from most camping stores. It's a matter of simply screwing that on. I showed you the butane canister adapter, which doesn't come with the stove, which you can pick up cheaply from AliExpress. Now what I will say is that you can't tell which burner control applies to which burner. I'm getting some bacon ready here. I'm putting the bacon into a coal pan. I'm not a cook, but I understand putting bacon into a coal pan is not a bad way to go about it. You can see Scooby over to the left there chasing some lizards. That dog is absolutely obsessed with lizards. Anyway, he hardly ever catches one, but the thrill's in the chase. So when you turn it on, it's pretty obvious because the sound that comes out of the burner indicates which knob applies to which burner. So it doesn't have a piezo igniter or other igniter, so you do need to ignite the stove. So I thought I'd do a crispy bacon test. Who doesn't love some crispy bacon? So we'll give that a test. And in the other pot, and I'm just showing you here, these are two good-sized fry pan and a pot. I'm going to boil some water. I'm on a traditional two-burner stove where the burners are adjacent to each other. You can find yourself not having them centered. Here, both of these are centered perfectly. So we've come back now 3 minutes later, and the bacon, I had to flip it over. It cooked very quickly and the water boiled very quickly as well. So I certainly can't fault the performance of this stove. I thought we'd have a quick look at the flame pattern. I know some stove experts out there are interested in that. I found the simmer control to be really good. So you'll see here, I turn the left stove down, I then follow with the right stove and I push a little far and it goes out. But if you're cooking a slow cook or long cook type of meal, I think you'd find that this stove would work very well. And you'll see here I jack it up to full speed and you get quite an impressive flame. All right, let's wrap it up. So what do I think of the BRS double burner camp stove? Let's start with the disadvantages. Firstly, the burner controls aren't numbered, so you don't know which applies to which burner, relatively minor issue. Then there's a price. You can get much cheaper butane stoves or camping stoves. Although this thing seems well made to me, I obviously can't comment on the durability over time. I tend to think if you treat it properly, you shouldn't have any particular issues. In terms of the advantages, obviously there's the compactness and the weight, which makes it great for motorhoming, perhaps not suitable for hiking because it's a bit bulkier and a bit heavier. Obviously the offset orientation of the burners means you can comfortably fit two decent sized pots and or pans at the same time. And a little cooking test I did earlier, it was extremely effective. So yes, I will be removing the butane burner from my camping rig and replacing it with this. All right, well, thank you for watching and I'll see you on the next one. Cheers.